now we had left the angel, who had turned to the sixth circle our ascending step, one gash from off my forehead razzed, while they, whose wishes tend to justice, shouted forth, blessed, and ended with, I thirst, and I, more nimble than along the other straits, so journeyed, that, without the sense of toil, I followed upward the swift-footed shades, when Virgil thus began, let its pure flame from virtue flow, and love can never fail to warm another's bosom so the light shine manifestly. 4th. Hence from that hour, when mongst us in the purlieus of the deep, came down the spirit of Aquinum's hard, who told of thine affection, my goodwill hath been for thee of quality as strong as ever linked itself to one not seen. Therefore these stairs will now seem short to me. But tell me, and if too secure I loose the rein with a friend's license, as a friend forgive me, and speak now as with a friend, how chanced covetous desire could find place in that bosom, midst such ample store of wisdom, as thy zeal had treasured there? First somewhat mov to laughter by his words, Statius replied, each syllable of thine is a dear pledge of love. Things oft appear that minister false matters to our doubts, when their true causes are removed from sight. Thy question doth assure me, thou believest I was on earth a covetous man, perhaps because thou foundst me in that circle placked. Know that I was too wide of avarice, and e'en for that excess, thousands of moons have waxed and waned upon my sufferings. And were it not that I with heedful care noted where thou exclaimest as if in ire with human nature, why, thou cursed thirst of gold, dost not with juster measure guide the appetite of mortals? I had met the fierce encounter of the voluble rock. Then was I ware that with too ample wing the hands may haste to lavishment, and turned, as from my other evil, so from this impenitence. How many from their grave shall with shorn locks arise, who living, aye and at life's last extreme, of this offense, through ignorance, did not repent? And know, the fault which lies direct from any sin in level opposition, herewith that wastes its green rankness on one common heap. Therefore if I have been with those, who wail their avarice, to cleanse me, through reverse of their transgression, such hath been my lot. To whom the sovereign of the pastoral song, while thou didst sing that cruel warfare wag by the twin sorrow of Jocasta's womb, from thy discourse with Clio there, it seems as faith had not been shine, without the which good deeds suffice not. And if so, what sun rose on thee, or what candle pierced the dark that thou didst after see to hoist the sail, and follow, where the fisherman had led? He answering thus, by thee conducted first, I entered the Parnassian grots, and quaffed of the clear spring, illumined first by the open mine eyes to God. Thou didst, as one, who, journeying through the darkness, hears a light behind, that profits not himself, but makes his followers wise, when thou exclaimest, lo! A renovated world. Justice returned. Times of primeval innocence restored. And a new race descended from above. Poet and Christian both to thee I owed. That thou mayst mark more clearly what I trace, my hand shall stretch forth to inform the lines with livelier coloring. Soon o'er all the world, by messengers from heaven, the true belief teemed now prolific, and that word of thine accordant, to the new instructors chimned. Induct by which agreement, I was wont resort to them, and soon their sanctity so won upon me, that, Domitian's rage pursuing them, I mixed my tears with theirs, and, while on earth I stayed, still succored them, and their most righteous customs made me scorn all sects besides. Before I led the Greeks in tuneful fiction, to the streams of Thebes, I was baptized, but secretly, through fear, remained a Christian, and conformed long time to pagan rites. 5 centuries and more, for that lukewarmness was fain to pace round the 4th circle. Thou then, who hast riced the covering, which did hide such blessing from me, whilst much of this ascent is yet to climb, say, if thou know, where our old Terence bides, Caecilius, Plautus, Varro, if condemned they dwell, and in what province of the deep? These, said my guide, with Persius and myself, and others many more, are with that Greek, of mortals, the most cherished by the 9, in the first ward of darkness. There oft times we of that mount hold converse, on whose top for aye our nurses live. We have the Bard of Pella, and the Teian, Agatho, Simonides, and many a Grecian else engarlanded with laurel. Of thy train Antigone is there, deified, Argia, and as sorrowful as Erstis Mene, and who showed Langia's wave, Daedamia with her sisters there, and blind Tiresias' daughter, and the bride seaborn of Peleus. Either poet now was silent, and no longer by ascent were the steep walls obstructed, round them cast inquiring eyes. For handmaids of the day had finished now their office, and the fifth was at the chariot beam, directing still its balmy point aloof, when thus my guide, methinks, it well behooves us to the brink bend the right shoulder circuiting the mount, as we have ever used. So custom there was usher to the road, the which we chose less doubtful, as that worthy shade complied. They on before me went, I so pursued, listening their speech, that to my thoughts conveyed mysterious lessons of sweet poesy. But soon they ceased, for midway of the road a tree we found, with goodly fruitage hung, and pleasant to the smell, and as a fir upward from bough to bough less ample spreads, so downward this less ample spread, that none, methinks, aloft may climb. Upon the side, that crossed our path, a liquid crystal fell from the steep rock, and through the sprays above streamed showering. With associate step the bards drew near the plant, and from amidst the leaves a voice was heard, Ye shall be chary of me, and after added, Mary took more thought for joy and honor of the nuptial feast, than for herself who answers now for you. The women of old Rome were satisfied with water for their beverage. Daniel fed on pulse, and wisdom gained. The primal age was beautiful as gold, and hunger then made acorns tasteful, thirst each rivulet run nectar. Honey and locusts were the food, whereon the Baptist in the wilderness fed, and that eminence of glory reached in greatness, which the evangelist records.